The atmosphere in the courtroom was thick with tension, a low murmur drifting through the crowd as they shuffled into their seats. The soft hum of fluorescent lights buzzed overhead, casting a cold, sterile glow over the wooden benches and the stern-faced judge sitting at the front. Officer Bradley Carter, a seasoned cop with years of experience, adjusted his tie, rolling his shoulders back with the confidence of someone who had walked this path countless times before. In fact, this was all too familiar to him. He had stood in this very courtroom, under these same bright lights, countless times, testifying against defendants who never stood a chance against his word. After all, he was a law enforcement officer and his testimony held weight. He was the one with the badge and the authority. Today, he thought, would be no different. Where are you watching from today? Let us know in the comments below. Across the room, Monica James sat at the defendant's table, composed and calm. Her navy blue suit was sharp, crisp, and immaculate, her deep brown skin contrasting beautifully against the bright white collar of her shirt. Her posture was unnaturally perfect, straight as an arrow, and there was something about her gaze that was both unsettling and unwavering. It was as if she already knew how this trial would unfold before it had even begun. Officer Carter barely glanced her way. To him, she was just another person trying to dodge the consequences of her actions. What he failed to realize, what no one in that courtroom could have predicted, was that today would mark the biggest mistake of his entire career. The judge, an older man with graying hair and tired eyes, adjusted his glasses and reviewed the case file. He gave a small nod toward the prosecutor, signaling for him to proceed. Carter stepped forward confidently. His voice was steady, professional. He had practiced this moment. "Your Honor," he began, standing tall. "On the night of June 14th, I pulled over the defendant, Monica James, for reckless driving. She was uncooperative and refused to provide identification when I asked. When I requested that she exit her vehicle, she became hostile, at which point I had no choice but to detain her." His words were deliberate, carrying the weight of a practiced cop. The jury listened intently. This was just another routine case. A police officer's word against the civilians. He continued, "During the search of her vehicle, I found suspicious items which led me to believe she was involved in illegal activity. Given her combative behavior and refusal to comply, I had probable cause to take her into custody." Turning toward the judge, he added, "Everything I did was by the book." Monica remained silent, her hands neatly folded in her lap. Not a flinch, not a frown. She simply waited. The judge nodded, then turned toward Monica. "Miss James, do you have anything to say before I make my ruling?" Slowly, Monica rose from her seat. She adjusted the cuffs of her blazer, smoothing out an imaginary wrinkle before stepping forward with the grace of someone who had nothing to prove but everything to reveal. "With all due respect, Your Honor," she began, her voice calm yet firm. "Before I respond, may I present some credentials?" The prosecutor, already preparing his final argument, scoffed under his breath. The judge raised an eyebrow but motioned for Monica to continue. Monica reached into her bag and pulled out a black leather ID case, walking forward and handing it to the bailiff, who then passed it to the judge. The moment the judge opened it, his entire demeanor shifted. His eyes widened in surprise as he read the card once, then twice. What had been a neutral expression was now replaced with something closer to disbelief, maybe even respect. Carter frowned. He hadn't expected this. "What is this?" the judge asked, his voice tinged with curiosity. Monica clasped her hands in front of her, tilting her head slightly. "That," she said evenly, "is my military identification. I am Lieutenant Commander Monica James, a high-ranking officer in the United States Navy SEALs." A wave of stunned silence swept through the courtroom. Carter's confident stance faltered. "I have served 4 combat tours overseas," Monica continued. "I've led classified military operations and completed some of the most rigorous training known to mankind. I've sworn an oath to uphold the Constitution and protect this country with my life." She let the weight of her words settle before locking eyes with Carter. And yet this officer, who had never met me before that night, stands here under oath and blatantly lies about me. The prosecutor shifted in his seat. The jury murmured among themselves. The entire room had shifted from a simple trial into something far more intense. "I would like to submit evidence," Monica said. She pulled out a small USB drive and continued. "This contains dashboard camera footage from my vehicle that directly contradicts Officer Carter's statement." The judge gestured for the bailiff to retrieve it. Moments later, the courtroom screen lit up. The footage was crystal clear. Monica had been nothing but respectful throughout the entire interaction. She had provided her ID the first time she was asked, complied with every request, and yet there was Carter, growing increasingly hostile, insulting her, escalating the situation for no reason. The final blow came when Carter was caught on video mocking her after the arrest, laughing with another officer. "No one's going to believe her over a cop," his recorded voice sneered. "She's just another." The audio cut off, leaving the courtroom gasping. The judge's expression darkened, and the prosecutor cleared his throat, swallowing hard. "Your Honor," he said, "in light of this new evidence, we would like to dismiss all charges against Miss James and formally launch an investigation into Officer Carter's conduct." The judge nodded sharply. "Agreed." Carter's face drained of color. The gavel slammed down, sealing his fate. Two officers approached him, their faces unreadable. For the first time in his career, Officer Bradley Carter was the one being escorted out. As he passed Monica, she simply watched him leave. "You assumed I was just another black woman you could intimidate," she said, her voice calm but powerful. "Next time, do your job with integrity, if there even is a next time." Carter didn't respond. His career was over. As Monica gathered her belongings and walked toward the exit, the courtroom, once silent, filled with whispers, not of doubt, but of admiration. That day, justice wasn't just served. It was delivered with precision. The world learned an unforgettable lesson. Never underestimate someone based on their appearance, because you never know who you're really dealing with. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more inspiring tales. Together, we can spread valuable lessons that remind us of the importance of humility, respect, and human connection. Thanks for watching, and have a wonderful day.